sometimes really workshop heavy and all that fun stuff. But the reason why it's special is I am going to create a backlog of these. So if you are ever interested and watching all of the weird stuff that happens after the show, just visit our Patreon, which is bit.ly/neverpatreon. And it's going to be the very first tier of reward you guys can get. Pitch us any money to support us keep going, and you'll have access to all of our archived footage for the after party. Otherwise, it's not going to go to YouTube or public YouTube. It's only going to live on Twitch. The audio podcast folks don't get the after party. I'll probably talk about it a little bit more during our intro next week. We just really ran out of time. Like a lot. Let's see. And we're gonna have some more, I think, unique content showing up on the Patreon, but I don't want it to like punish our viewers, so it'll always come through Twitch at least if I can. And maybe just some art assets show up on Patreon and stuff like that. Again, if you guys aren't following us elsewhere, we have been posting the art reveals for all the new characters. The new character art. So far, we've done Rye, Zero, and Seeker, and you can find them all on our Twitter at NSTPcast, or again, they're in the Discord. We have a whole art something art channel. I can't remember what it's called.
The Art Vault. The
Art Vault, where we've had some other contributions from like Rusted Chrome, who your ship was named after this episode in episode 13. He's also the guy who drew your mechs, which we haven't seen come back into place yet, but we totally will. Let's see, got a lot of stuff going on. You guys, sorry it was railroady, and sorry we lost a lot of time, and sorry I didn't realize how goddamn hard it was to knock you guys unconscious in Starfinder. I thought it was going to be way easier.
To be honest, I was going to give up the moment you knocked the other two out.
So I was close. Seeker, I just needed to lob another grenade at, and he would have been down. And I was hoping you guys would have surrendered earlier.
Killing things. Like, what? Miller was really good at killing things. Usually,
oh yeah,
usually a broken weapon.
He went out with a bang.
I took out two.
Mm-hmm.
With a little.
Sure did.
I was useless the entire time.
So, do you guys hopefully have a good reason for us to not kill Dren?
Well, I'm going to have him help you guys hopefully land on the planet, and he might have some secret ways off of here, because this is not Dren's first time being in the dome. Saltazar was either lying or wrong about people never getting out of there.
Also, of course, sort of what Dustin has planned to get like my character incorporated into the story. Totally knew my second in command was going to be a traitorous bastard. 100%. So I was like, here's the name, here's what he is, and that's why that was all I gave him, because it was like, it's going to be a mutiny.
Yeah, I wasn't super subtle when I was like, oh yeah, and make a second in command and name him for me, please. Rourke, we have a little bit of an enemy opposition there for Dren when he gets back, or all you guys. You guys are also down the river by Rourke. So we got a pirate out there on the lam who may or may not, as far as you guys know, has Miller or is taking Miller somewhere else. So again, I was normally going to keep your headset off from that, so you guys would be surprised about Miller's situation, but that's fine. You guys have it.
That was a really good send-off, by the way.
It worked out. I wanted longer. I wanted a whole other half hour to do all this stuff. And like I said, I have a whole map built out. It's not like a super in detail map, but it's like a zone thing. And I'm actually playing this like a game show, basically. This next finishing arc of Eox is survive the game show, get off of Eox, and then that'll kind of lead into some setups that'll get you to like a story heavy thing for the Pact Worlds, which will be good.
And speaking of really good send-offs,
you gotta go.
Bye.
We needed him.
Yeah, we actually need him to sign back in, or
text him.
Gonna...
Yep, I will text him.
He might be listening. For Miller, there's a good chance that he will come back. That I will play him again. The whole issue with him was he wasn't all that interesting, at least to me. All he was really good for was, Starfinder stuff. There wasn't any meat or backbone to him, and which is why when he was hello,
hi Patrick.
Why do you need me back?
Because we need to do the overlay thing.
What?
You don't have to be here, but we need
mute your mic and cover up your.
Yeah, cover up your webcam and mic.
Mute your stuff, cover up your webcam, get naked before doing that, and you're good to go.
Yep.
We got to fix the overlays. We don't have this happen next week. Yeah, okay. Yep. All right. Let's ignore Patrick. He's not there, so we'll go away.
So yeah, that was my main goal for the one shot last month, was to kind of set up his departure. Actually, a lot of foreshadowing. You know, I mentioned that was several months into the future.
Yep.
Mentioned the whole deal behind him. I'm not going to spoil anything. If you want to go back and watch it, go for it. But
he comes in episode 3 of the Skitter Shot arc.
Yep. Just with the stuff that I gave him in episode 3, all his background stuff, I have a lot more to work with, and Dustin has a lot more to work with for the character of Miller. And I think it'd be a lot more interesting later on.
Oh yeah, he's definitely set up to be a really interesting NPC. Like, listen to that whole thing. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to see where that goes.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be nice to, like, when he does come back, be like, oh, cool. It's gonna be really cool.
So my next character, the character is going to be a lot of fun. I think I'm not going to give out gender yet, but they're going to be a lot of fun to play with. But I don't think it's going to be a permanent thing either. It's more of a holdover,
For the record, you're only allowed to retire one character, so this one better go down in a blaze of damn glory. Or we'll figure it out. It's fine. We do need to touch base over the course of the week. Text me or something, or hang out, chat me, so we can actually get how you're integrated. I had a couple of shifting ideas. I know you had some as well. I'm happy to make either work. It's just we need to get you in that dome. That's it.
Pat, you don't need to be here. You just have to mute yourself and cover your webcam.
He's muted. Can confirm.
How long is the not to interrupt the conversation, but how long is this whole thing going to take with the camera? Because this is where I sleep. So
are you going to bed now?
Yeah,
you're like an old man.
Just shut everything off on your computer and we just need your thing there. Or somebody can just log in from...
Yeah, but I get naked in this room.
Would just log in from a phone?
Would my phone work?
That's all we need. Yeah, we've done
All right,
just put up like a sheer cloth and...
Get the hell out of here, Pat.
Bye.
I'll log in again.
Thank God.
Isn't my phone's camera not the right orientation? I thought it was a smaller size for some reason.
It doesn't matter. We just need another person in there. No, I really liked the episode. I didn't like that I didn't get to do anything or even like RP much at all. And I think we all kind of like stepped back to let it just kind of go, which is fine. But I really like how it set up the upcoming arc. I think that it was kind of a big kind of like shift, and
we definitely need whatever's going to happen next episode to happen.
Right. So like this episode, of course, was going to be much longer. Like that encounter was going to be drawn out a bit more. There was possibly going to be more pirates coming your way. And Miller was supposed to have a bit of a longer send off. My part changed only a little bit, not too much. But hey, Dig Dude, the Dig Dude with the raid.
Yes, thank you for the raid.
Hey, Ron.
We are in the after party, unfortunately.
Well, after party's still good, but we're basically coming out of playing only an hour and a half tonight because we started late.
Right.
We just got through playing Starfinder. You'll be able to catch it in the videos on demand or on YouTube as of Thursday, I think. Mm-hmm. So you check it out. For now, we're just chatting about the episode, how it went, and some stuff that's been changing throughout the episode. So still a good time to hang out and chat, especially when I talk shop.
Yeah.
I'm a digging dude. Thanks, Ray. You totally nailed that one.
Was Saltazar supposed to be a Fifth Element reference? Because he is a lot like what's his face there.
I was definitely channeling my oh god.
New Vegas, I believe, is right?
Yeah, Pepper is Yes Man from New Vegas. I actually modeled him more after a Mr. Gutsy, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the robot types in Fallout now.
No, it's
not.
That was the only Fallout game I played. I was like, oh yeah, that's very much Fallout.
Well, you actually called him his Yes Man. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, there was Protectron. He's supposed to look like a Protectron, but he is like functionally Yes Man. Although Yes Man spoke, I think.
Yes, he did.
He doesn't. And Saltazar was, I don't know why I can't remember the character's name. In Fifth Element,
Chris Tucker plays him.
Yeah, it's Chris Tucker, but I can't remember his. Not the buzz scene. I don't want.
Because that's what I was getting when I.
Ruby Rod. Yeah, Ruby Rod. Yeah. He is not an overt reference to Ruby
Yeah.
Rod, but I'm channeling Ruby Rod on a slightly lower level.
Like the voice, by the way, is gonna be a fun villain to
Mhm.
confront.
One thing that I'm working on with the Eox arc is to flesh out recurring villains.
Good.
I'm going to be giving you guys a bit of a team of super villains, basically. You're going to have him as like the dude in a chair that you guys are kind of dealing with hovering over your shoulder. The stalker that Rye interacted with at the end of episode 13 is going to be kind of a part of these recurring villains. We've got...
Wasn't that Stalker?
Has been mostly handled.
Wasn't that Stalker one of the villains?
I'm pretty sure it was Nick's character from the villain arc. I can't remember his name.
Schechter.
Yeah, I think it was Schechter was the villain because it was Black Goop. I think was what interacted, and that's part of Schechter's shtick. He was a medical experiment when he failed all of his exams, basically. A failed student turned into a bit of a monster.
It was my Brawl equivalent of a villain for
Basically.
rolling.
Basically, yeah, you guys know that there's another Nat android somewhere in the dome, going by the name of Nats or Nat 5, which is, again, pulling back to we just dealt with Nate at the end of the last arc, Nat 3. I can't remember how much the players know, but Justin is a Seeker. His character is another Nat model. I gave you the number in the show, but I don't know if the players know it. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there, but again, I'm working on giving a more clear roster of villains because you guys have had these like overarching big bads in the horizon, and I think they're going to come into play more next arc. But starting for Eox and going forward, I want you guys to have more mundane characters that you don't kill the first time you meet them, maybe, but they definitely are recurring antagonists. Now, I have to be a little bit careful. Rourke, surprisingly, almost died. He was down to 20 health. He had a total of 80 health, and you guys ripped through him pretty good. I didn't play him cautiously towards the end, but like he's a character that's supposed to be one of these recurring characters you guys kind of get the egg on for. Yeah, a lot of new stuff we're changing in how interaction works. I'm trying to get Rye's backstory exposed finally because that bastard's been cagey as heck in terms of how I can wheel it out. I actually don't know Dren's backstory, so I'm going to need more of that, like his past that brought him to this point. I definitely need more there. If you need help shaping it, just let me know.
Do you need you need my backstory as well?
I have your basic backstory even more than I have Dren's.
Oh wow! I gave you just surface.
Yes, I don't have that for Dren. I have Dren's now. I don't have Dren's yesterday. I would like more about like how your character has maybe had like specific interactions would be useful, but I know you'll give me more than I need, which is good. Give me more than I need. I'll use it. I brought back Sal, who has been one of your babies. You knew you were getting handed off to Sal, right?
Yes.
We had to talk about that. Okay. All right.
Oh, yeah,
you played that well, not knowing it. So thank you.
Exactly.
I do, just viewers, I do try to surprise my players with everything. I try not to give them any forewarning. But Chris came to me was like, hey, I'd like to maybe retire Miller. I know I didn't before we talked
Put him
about
on the back burner for a while. Let him simmer a bit.
Yep. So we'll come back to Miller at some point. Brawl, I'm pretty sure, is retired for good.
I think so. Unless something drastic happens with that character and in the background, but just like his entire character was almost really just one note, and at the time we weren't doing much with combat. I know this arc is supposed to change that.
I can. I toned it down a little bit from what I originally had it. It was going to be a lot of random encounters. I don't like random encounters, guys. I just don't. It slows things down, and while you can make it interesting, it becomes a lot of like circumstance. There are combat areas you guys can elect into in this dome. You can fall into combat by going too slow, and you'll be told that ahead of time. But otherwise, Brawl would have had a couple standout areas, but overall would have been the same deal I expected.
Yeah, I think he was his entire backstory kind of hinged on like one moment, and there wasn't really much that really developed as we were playing through, other than like the feud with Rye. So for the time being, barring if there's some more inspiration behind there for me to get back to, I think Brawl will be retired.
Let's be honest, that feud's going to continue.
Right.
Two competing captains.
Well, so I don't want to get too into it, but honestly, I think Dren is going to be poking at how Rye isn't being the stereotype of what a captain is. So he's not doing very captainly things. Like Dren he's got the hat, he's got the big coat, and just how he conducts himself. I think him and Rye are going to be not at each other's throats, but like have a little bit of a back and forth. But I think he might actually be a bit of a mentor to Rye, at least as far as I'm looking into the future from how I want to play this character.
We'll see how Patrick's on board with that, because I doubt any.
Well, I think it's going to be a
Yes.
really interesting thing.
And so I want him to be a bit more intense than what the party currently has. I don't want to give anything away for Chris's character, so I won't.
I'm excited to see Chris's character interaction.
Right.
Knowing that. That's
you guys wearing the same jacket?
It is similar.
It's
oh my
the
god,
same
did you
jacket.
style that after Rye's jacket, you bastard?
Not so the trim color I didn't pick, but the coloration is pretty close. You could, if you look at the two, it could be like, oh, that's made by blah blah blah. Yeah, duh, that's a best brand or whatever. But
really
why don't you bring up the two things?
Yeah, I can bring him up.
Because I mean, we're talking about it. We might as well show everybody.
right.
Let's see if I can get.
Regarding his backstory, I didn't want to give too much on the first episode since I knew it was going to be, or like I didn't want to give too much to Dustin on the first episode.
Yeah, that's it. That's what.
No, 100%. Because I was going to make the backstory heavily revolving around him and Rourke, but I knew that Rourke was going to be the mutiny guy. So if I developed this backstory with him and his second in command just to have the mutiny, then it's like, okay, well,
you can still roll with it, just knowing that he's bad at telling jokes, even though you like them.
Yeah.
And I think overwhelmingly it was money. And if you need some motivation, he's got the motivation as to why he turned on you. It wasn't just money, but it's there. So if you need it, I can give it to you later.
Sure.
I don't think you'd be completely blind to the turnaround. But yeah, give me some more story so I have it. And
got it.
And it's clearly the Barbosa logic.
So, do you want to talk about your character inspirations, Nicholas?
Yeah, so if you take a look at Dren's outfit, I pretty much gave the artist, I was like, straight up Captain Barbosa from Pirates of the Caribbean. That's what I want to shoot for. I probably, Ray in chat right now, we watched through Pirates of the Caribbean, me and my community, and everybody in my community knows that Captain Barbosa is my favorite Pirates of the Caribbean character. So I drew heavy inspiration from that. I also drew inspiration from Orin from Final Fantasy X. So that's kind of where I'm trying to go. We'll see how it all pans out. The first couple sessions is always a bit weird getting into like a new character, seeing how they voice themselves within the group and whatnot, but it'll be very
considering your current standing with the group is we want to kill you.
Right. But
actually, Zero wouldn't want to kill you. Zero would want to tie you up and torture you till he knows where Miller is.
that's very fair.
Actually, I guess some DM or GM tips on how to not get murdered. Bring up that you guys do have Miller on the background, and maybe you're working with Sal on how to get out, because Sal isn't really down with. I don't know Dren's character. If Dren's all about the money and selling people into lethal slavery is his game, and that's totally cool with him, maybe he doesn't care so much. But Sal on the background is like knowingly trying to get people out. But Sal's been a goody two shoes forever. Dren very well does not have to be. That's more up to how you've built the backstory. But you have that as a window to talk with the party.
I cannot find a good picture of Rye.
We have.
I can't find it anywhere, and like for whatever reason, the one that we posted in Discord just is not loading on.
We posted it to Twitter.
You can't just pull it up out of the drive or something?
You could.
I could, yeah.
Drive. Hold on, I have it here.
No, it's funny when I brought up the fact that I wanted to switch characters. Dustin immediately said, "Oh, so do you want to kill Miller?" I'm like, "No. I actually really like Miller. He just needs a little bit more oomph."
He needs a lot of development that can't happen in a slow-paced story, basically.
Right.
Exactly. So I had a backstory built for him that just wouldn't really work out for how we're playing, especially with the number of players. 5 players is kind of a lot, and It's kind of hard to develop that story on a larger with a larger group.
That's why I gave Dustin a very specific idea, and then basically said, "Do everything else yourself, so that
Same
you can
code.
just make it fit."
I need to find
Oh my gosh,
and
it really is.
Yep.
Holy wow.
That's really funny.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I swear I did not pick up on that at all.
Yep.
Justin,
Was
you
it
wouldn't-
actually intentional?
Not 100%. It was a bit of my fault because I chose a similar color palette for what he would wear. But
and
otherwise,
all the
like that,
references we gave, so it makes sense.
that's what a captain's coat is. So
Yeah.
like you can do as much as you can with that design.
I mean, even Seeker has a fairly similar coat, just different color.
Right. I
It's
mean,
like a trench coat.
the only thing that would be a bit different is like to accommodate his tail was I told her to have it be coat tails as opposed to like being just like a solid jacket backing.
Makes sense. I see that too. I got to actually bounce. It sounds out my 2-year-old has woken up. We are also past the after party anyways for
Right.
we just started late. You guys can feel free to keep talking if you'd like or raid somebody else. Thank you guys everyone for watching or for joining in. We will be back with our show next Tuesday. We will be starting at 8:30, I promise. Sorry about the delay there, guys. And 8:30 p.m. EST, we'll be doing Starfinder again, and we'll be dealing more with what does EOX look like to these party, and how has Industrial Dome changed,
And how does Dren live?
and how does Dren survive? Next time on Dragon Ball Z. All right, I'm gonna leave my screen up because I know the guys need to do it for some overlay stuff. I will maybe pop down later if I can wrap up the kid thing. But Juliet's been real fun this week. All right. Peace out, guys.
I'm
Later,
actually
Dustin.
thinking that we should probably stop this now so we can do this.
Yeah.
Right.
'cause I gotta go
So
back,
I've pulled a channel. We're
Thanks,
going to be
BDH.
rating the
Glad you
Dungeon
enjoyed
Rats. Also BDH. I want to give you a shout out in
yeah,
particular
thanks.
for posting to Reddit on our
Mhm.
behalf.
Mhm.
That's the first time I believe that anybody has posted a Reddit thread about us and not just somebody commenting on a thread of, hey, look for these guys. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for that. That's the
Yes.
best way we can kind of grow this operation and
Mhm.
get more of you guys on board and in the community. So a hand heart, cheesy, right? But here it is for you.
I already did, Nick.
Oh, what?
I didn't see it, so I did it.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
We're gonna be rating the Dungeon Rats. It seems like they're on session 2, so pretty early into their story. And let's go give them a never split the raid. And we'll see you all next Tuesday.
Later, everybody.
See you guys.